You are Locked On Pistons Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Disappointing one at Little Caesars Arena as the Suns outlast the Pistons. Final score in this one, 125-121. Detroit falling back to 500 at 21-21. Let's talk about it. Good show lined up for you. My name is Jake Rietma. Fired up as always to be with you on a live Locked On Pistons postcast on what a day we have in the Motor City. Unfortunately, got off to the wrong foot with the Suns coming in and earning the win. We'll talk about where the Pistons came up short, and my goodness, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are special. We'll break that down and wrap it up with our studs and duds. But this is the Locked On Pistons postcast, your post-game destination for all things Detroit Pistons, all things Detroit for that matter. Locked On Lions postcast after the Lions Commanders game tonight as well. Don't forget your favorite podcast, that's right, Locked On Pistons, has a newsletter. So check it out. You can sign up for free. It's your one stop for ultimate team and league coverage, and it's delivered right to your inbox. And you can sign up at LockedOnDaily.com. Write that down. It's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Pistons newsletter. Today's show made possible by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com. As always, your comments are welcome on a live Locked On Pistons postcast. So use that comment feature in the YouTube chat. And if you missed the live episode, you can check out the audio-only version that is posted on the corresponding podcast platform. We do that with all of our shows here on Locked On Sports Detroit, and they're all free and available wherever you get your podcasts and, of course, on YouTube. So my reminder to subscribe, Locked On Sports Detroit. And if you're new around here, it's an extension of Locked On's coverage in post-game fashion. So here we go. The Suns. This one's frustrating because I mean, even for as well as Kevin Durant and Devin Booker played, and it was more Devin Booker in the first half and Kevin Durant in the second half to the tune of 30 second half points, but the two of them combining for 71, this still was so close. It was in the grasp for victory, and down by 4, you get Tim Hardaway Jr. drawing the foul on the three-point shot and a chance to pull within 1 with 3 free throws with a minute 10 to go. And it just, and I don't mean to point to one spot in the game and say this is where the Pistons lost it, but man, Tim Hardaway Jr., I wrote it down. Greg Kessler said it on the broadcast, 83% free throw shooter. And he steps up to the line after a lengthy review, and Blaha had his back with that one. But after a lengthy review, he misses the first, misses the second. So now instead of being able to pull within 1, in fact, it's a 3-point game, and the Suns go down and eventually outlast the Pistons with the free throws. And that was the turning point in which you go from being able to make this a game and really make things interesting in a 1-point game to now all of a sudden it's in fact over. There are some other little instances that were just what made this game so frustrating. And as we see the comments fly in, I'm not the only one that's frustrated, but Durant missed 2 free throws. Speaking of missing free throws, Durant never misses 2 free throws. He missed 2 free throws, and it was a missed box out by the Pistons, allowing the Suns to get an offensive rebound. What happens? Well, Kevin Durant's too good of a player. He makes you pay with the and 1 bucket. So instead of the 2 missed free throws, it's a 3-point possession for the Phoenix Suns. I thought Cade was a little bit off tonight, a little bit out of rhythm. Some of that's a testament to how well the Suns played against him. There was one instance in which it was about a minute to go with Isaiah Stewart missing a shot, and I'm not here to say people are off limits and taking shots on a possession. Like it's the National Basketball Association, for goodness sake. But it was pretty early for Isaiah Stewart to try to early in the shot clock to go for that shot that he missed. And again, that was not the reason the Pistons lost, but just little things like that here and there that made this such a frustrating game because yes, the Suns are, and we saw it when the Pistons beat the Suns in Phoenix. They're certainly capable of beating a team like the Suns, and they were very, very close today, and very similar records. The Suns now 21-20, the Pistons 21-21, but down the stretch, you got to give Kevin Durant and Devin Booker a lot of credit, as those were the guys for the Phoenix Suns tonight. Some other things from the box score as you look at how this game played out, and for Cade Cunningham and the Pistons, and even Ron Holland, I thought he took some steps forward tonight, but overall, I just felt like this was such a close game for the Pistons to try to have a chance to make another big win, right? And another opportunity that falls by the wayside now that they have lost 2 straight. But even that being said, you look at some of the splits. Tobias Harris was better tonight, 21 points, 9 of 15 from the floor. And offensively, the Pistons just didn't really get an outpouring of production. 20 for Cade, 15 for Jalen Duren, 12 for Tim Hardaway Jr. He was -7, though. And Asar Thompson, not a great game for him. He had the technical foul as well, which, as you guys know, really drives me crazy, because not only are you playing poorly, but you're compounding it with the inability to keep your composure. And so I thought it was kind of a step back in that sense overall. But as a team, the Pistons didn't necessarily shoot it well from the long line, just 9 of 33, 44 of 94 from the floor for 47% overall. And JB Bickerstaff said this in his post-game comments just now, that sometimes guys make shots, and I hate to simplify it like that, but sometimes that is exactly what you see. And Kevin Durant in the second half, 30 points in the second half to finish with a game high 36. Devin Booker right there, 35 points. And Durant, 13 of 27 from the floor, 8 of 12 from the free throw line. Devin Booker, and I said this in the first half as well, Devin Booker got a lot of opportunities from the line, 12 of 13 from the charity stripe. So between the two of them, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they shoot 25 free throws, and all told, the Suns shot 40 compared to the Pistons. Pistons got to the line as well, shooting 36, 24 of 36 though. So missed free throws, missed box outs, and allowing the opposition some offensive rebounds. That is what ends up costing the Pistons down the stretch. And ultimately they fall to the Phoenix Suns 125-121. But we know it's a big day in Detroit. Lions and Commanders coming up in a little bit. Pistons next game, Martin Luther King Day on Monday, so it's a day game. They'll be in Houston taking on the Rockets. Of course, we'll have a live Locked On Pistons postcast following that one as well. But as always, happy to have you along on a live Locked On Pistons postcast. Make sure you're checking out the Locked On Pistons Daily Show with Koo. Always enjoy his covers. Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. Locked On Red Wings with Scott Bentley and Brian Fisher. And of course, Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, and Locked On Wolverines with Isaiah Hull. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll take your comments next. We'll break down what Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were able to do to really penetrate the defense of the Detroit Pistons and have their way. And then we'll wrap it up with studs and duds. Don't go anywhere. Locked On Pistons continues in just a moment. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Pistons postcast is brought to you by... Just 1 second, I'll tell you exactly who this episode of the Locked On Pistons postcast is brought to you by. Robinhood. That's right. How about that, sports fans? With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive, my friends. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 per month for 1 year. from First Match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. All right, second portion of the program, 125-121, the final in this one. Pistons falling to the Phoenix Suns. They split the season series now. Pistons 10-11 at home, and will look to get above 500 on Monday, taking on the the Houston Rockets. That game at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have a postcast afterwards. But the Phoenix Suns, and I do want to get to your comments, so let's go there right now, because I always enjoy the interactive component of all of this. Dan chiming in, going to be ups and downs in any growing year. They're battling, go Lions. It is, and I think that's exactly what JB Bickerstaff was alluding to in his post-game comments, that there's certainly no moral victories in any sport, let alone at the professional level. And you're going to be disappointed with the results of this one. But in a vacuum, I think we could all agree that this team is light years ahead of where maybe even the biggest Pistons fan would have expected them to be. And I'm not resting on that as a way to justify the disappointment, but at the same time, let's take some inventory of how far this team has come and the signs that they've continued to show, which is really signs of improvement and signs of growth. Moses Rios, like I said, ever since the NBA been paying attention to our Pistons, they haven't been playing. Yeah, there's some of that. You're not. And again, I mentioned this on our last postcast. Like, I think that's what we want. I don't think we want to be this lovable losing franchise that people take the night off for. I think we want to get teams' best shots. And now it's just about going out and winning and taking the fighters' punches and extending games and finding a way to outlast the opposition. And there's been times the Pistons have this year, but then tonight is an example of times where it just the team with the more experience, the team with the better execution, the team that made free throws, the team that got offensive rebounds. Those are all things the Suns did and the Pistons did not, which is why you see the Suns in the win column and the Pistons taking the L. Demetrius McNeil, THJ, Tim Hardaway Jr. missed 2 free throws late in the game. We'll get ready for the Lions game tonight. That's right. And don't forget, you got Red Wings action as well. Still working on that Red Wings postcast. Still talking to the bosses about that, which would be a lot of fun. But Red Wings and I believe Tampa Bay, and then Lions and Commanders. Yeah, playoff atmosphere. It's going to be electric. My brothers at Ford Field, I am jealous. That's going to be a lot of fun. But we'll have a Locked On Lions postcast immediately following the conclusion of that. And I think CZAPEK, Zapek, maybe? Says let's go Lions. That is the best way to put it. But in this one, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, it was Devin Booker in the first half. He was efficient and he was getting a lot of the calls. He was at the free throw line. You got to give him a lot of props there. Kevin Durant in the second half with 30 points, and together they combined for 71 points, which is very impressive, obviously, but they were also combined. Kevin Durant was plus 12, Devin Booker minus 5. And so you see the impact that they have on the game. And in 38 minutes, Kevin Durant, and this goes without saying, everybody knows it, but man, when he is on in that frame and the length and athleticism he has, there's not a lot of defense that you can do. And JB Bickerstaff even alluded to that in his post-game press conference, saying, hey, we're going to do the best we can, but sometimes guys make shots. It can, in fact, be that simple. So that being said, disappointing in the sense that it really felt like the Suns had 2 guys that beat you tonight. I mean, for goodness sakes, I guess Richards had 21 off the bench. He was very efficient, 7 of 8 from the floor. Also shot 9 free throws. He was 7 of 9 from the floor. So that's a big part of it as well. He was plus 22. But other than that, just one other player in double figures, even on all of that. And that was Ryan Dunn with 12. Whereas when you look at the Pistons effort off the bench, he got 11 from Wendell Moore Jr. Marcus Sasser, I thought, played pretty well. 14 points. He was plus 10, 6 of 9 from the floor. And had some buckets in transition and took the, I believe it was Sasser that took the elbow from Grayson Allen. That really fired up Greg Kessler, saying everything, everywhere, at every level, everywhere Grayson Allen's played, he's found a way to always be, always having trouble follow him. And they ruled it just a flagrant one. But I think Greg Kessler thought it could have been a little bit more than that. But that being said, Pistons fall to the Phoenix Suns, 125-121. We'll wrap it up with studs and duds. Don't go anywhere. We've got more to do, a lot more to do, in fact, on a Locked On Pistons postcast. Back in a moment. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Pistons postcast is brought to you by Skims. I'm fired up to tell you all about Skims because when I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. And let me tell you, it lives up to the hype and it exceeded all of my expectations. I've always had issues with underwear, whether it be the fit, the comfort, or just finding the right style that fits me. And Skims changed all of that. Their men's line offers something for everyone. I'm telling you, the versatility of the products they offer, incredible. I'm talking boxer briefs, classic briefs, whatever your style is, they've got you covered. And it's all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried the Skims boxer brief and I'm hooked. These are the perfect for anybody that's active like myself. They move with you. They never lose their shape and they stay in place all day. So whether I'm working out or just running errands or maybe even doing a Locked On Pistons postcast, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. So shop Skims men's at skims.com/LockedOnNBA. That's Skims, skims.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores. Let me know we sent you. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select Locked On Pistons from the drop-down menu that follows. And you can do all your shopping at skims.com/LockedOnNBA. This episode of the Locked On Pistons postcast is also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Doesn't that sound good? Just saying America's #1 sports book. Well, they earned it because let me tell you, FanDuel has got it going. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keep every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. And whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add a little sizzle and a little extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. It's the studs and duds portion of the program, so make sure you get your studs and duds in the comments. We'll read our favorite ones tonight. But unfortunately for the Pistons, they were up against some studs, and those studs included Kevin Durant with 30 second half points and Devin Booker, the Grand Rapids native. Both those guys going to the Lions-Commanders game later tonight, and they've got a big bet on it as well. Devin Booker was seen pregame, at least I saw it on social media, so it's got to be real, repping the Lions. He had the big Lions coat, huge Lions fan, and Durant growing up in the DC area, repping his Commanders. So there you go. They'll be at the game with Lions and Commanders later on tonight. And I believe the bet is if the Lions win, that means Kevin Durant has to tell Draymond Green or thank him for the rings he won in Golden State. And if the Commanders win, I believe Devin Booker has to acknowledge Luka Doncic as his daddy, something to that matter. But I don't think Devin Booker has anything to worry about because the Lions are winning this one. There is no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. But both those guys were really good tonight. 35 points for Devin Booker, 12 of 13 from the foul line, 11 of 22 from the floor. Kevin Durant, 13 of 27 for 36 points. He was plus 12 and 8 of 12 from the foul line. So 4 missed free throws from Durant. You don't see that very often. I thought Asar Thompson was bad tonight, just the 6 points. And I'm not just looking at points. He plays good defense, but when a team can identify you as a non-threat offensively and sag off you and essentially allow their defense to play 5-on-4 like they did with Asar Thompson and Ronald Holland, it's going to be a challenge for the other players offensively to get anything going because you just don't have the ability to stretch the floor when you're missing a player that is a threat to the defense. And that's what it was with Asar Thompson tonight. And I'm worried that that's going to be a continuation and more teams are going to continue to see that. Tim Hardaway Jr. wasn't great tonight. He was -7. Of course, the 2 huge missed free throws, had a chance to pull the Pistons within 1. And even if you hit 2, you're within 2. It's a different feel, but man, to miss 2 of the 3 and the Pistons be down 3 instead of being down 1 and maybe even at a worst case scenario down 2, that was tough to see. And it's uncharacteristic. We know that Tim Hardaway Jr. is a better free throw shooter than what he just showed. And it's hard because for the game, I mean, he was 2 for 6 from the line. You just don't, or I'm sorry, he was 4 of 6 from the free throw line. You just don't see him miss 2 free throws in a 3-shot setting. And again, the review probably had something to do with it as well, because you review that and it results in having to wait around. Am I shooting? Am I not shooting? Are they going to take the foul away, or am I going to be on the line to shoot 3 huge critical free throws? And he was, and the moment just was a little bit too big for him in that sense. I thought as a team, the Pistons allowed the Suns the offensive rebounds that were really critical. And the Suns came up with 13 offensive rebounds, but they were the timely type that really were backbreaking, because the Pistons had more offensive rebounds, 15, but for whatever reason, those timely backbreaking offensive rebounds, the Suns seemed to get time after time tonight. So Pistons will have to bounce back. They'll look to do that on Monday in Houston against the Rockets. We'll have a Locked On Pistons postcast. And if you haven't yet already, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. Subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit, because, hey, this is all free Locked On Sports Detroit content that we're pumping out on YouTube and on our audio platforms as well. And after the Lions Commanders game, we'll have a Locked On Lions postcast show as well that you'll definitely want to tune in for, because I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Baseball season right around the corner for Locked On Tigers postcast. I know it was a lot of fun. Speaking of that, Tarek Skubal at the Pistons game tonight, they asked him if he's going to the Lions game. He said, I don't know, meaning and kind of implying that, hey, maybe if he wants to get a ticket. I mean, when you're the Cy Young Award winner and you want to go to the Lions game, you make it somebody makes it happen. I think he's got a lot of pull around the city of Detroit. But great job by Natalie Kerwin. She does a tremendous job. A good friend of mine on that interview where she asked him, he's from the Phoenix area and who's he rooting for. I thought his answer was interesting. He didn't pick a side, stood on the fence a little bit, but hey, like I said, you're the Cy Young Award winner, so you can kind of do as you please. But disappointing one this evening at Little Caesars Arena. Pistons fall to the Phoenix Suns. Final score 125-121. Detroit will be back in action, looking to get back above 500 as they're 21-21 now. Next game Monday at 2:00 against the Houston Rockets. Until then, because we got a Locked On Lions postcast. Let's go Lions. Playoff football right around the corner. Thanks for listening as always, and we'll see you next time on Locked On Sports Detroit.